There's always been a good Nike quote that I like, and it is impossible is nothing. My name is James Williams, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Minded Podcast. Another great day in sports. Not that I paid a lot of attention to stuff that happened on the field, but it was a lot of stuff that happened off the field. As many of you know, we are right in the middle of the free agency period in the NBA, and there's nothing better than this time of year, especially for me, when you get to follow who's going to go where, and there's all speculation and the rumors, and you got to sift through all the stuff on social media and all the spam and all the other nonsense. But with that being said, it really seems like LeBron James has kind of come down to two teams, and I have to say, at this point right now, it looks like the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to fulfill. I guess fulfill. I guess you could say the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to fill the void of Cleveland sports that has been missing in that city and in that state of Ohio for the last 4 years. And that was when LeBron James left to go to the Miami Heat 4 years ago on July 8th, I believe, of 2010. Now, it's been pretty funny because now that I mention July 8th, 2010, let's say that next day or even that same day, you think about what fans were doing in Cleveland at that time. They were burning jerseys of LeBron James. They were the Dan Gilbert, who owns the Cleveland Cavaliers, went on a rant. He had posted a letter that rubbed many people the wrong way, especially LeBron James, which is something he still held a grudge for quite a long time. And I still want to think he probably does. But if he joins the Cleveland Cavaliers, maybe it's all water under the bridge. But if you go back and look at what some of the Cleveland Cavalier fans did at that time, it's pretty crazy stuff. And I mean, you can't blame them. When you lose your main guy, not only was he your superstar, but he was a guy who was actually from Ohio. Right up the street from Akron, if I'm not mistaken, not too far out from Cleveland. But if you even look back at James's first game as a member of the Miami Heat, returning to Cleveland to play the Cavaliers, I believe let me look it up. I remember I wrote about this a while back. I believe it was the fans of the Cavaliers, a few guys got together and decided they wanted to make a schedule of some sort, if I remember. They wanted to have different chants, different times throughout the game in which whenever LeBron James had the ball, they wanted to boo or to call him every other name under the sun. As I'm trying to pull that up, let's see. LeBron James is seriously considering coming back to Cleveland. Like, it's really hard to believe. If for many sports fans on Twitter, some are just can't get over it. I mean, it's kind of weird because I'm sure I mean I don't remember who was doing what 4 years ago, but I'm pretty sure some of the people that I've seen on my Twitter feed were among the few select elite group of people who wanted to go about lighting LeBron James' jersey on fire. There was really no riots or anything, but it was everything but a riot that happened in Cleveland that day. Let me see. I'm still trying to look for that schedule. Now I'll just post a link up at the end, and you guys can take a look at that. But when you look at what happened today, well, yesterday now. I'm doing this on July 10th, the morning of July 10th. If you look at July 9th of 2014, if all the signals were appearing that it was really 50-50 down the middle, until at least I woke up, and I'm sure many people when they woke up, to find out that the Cleveland Cavaliers made a 3-team trade with the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics, of all people. 2 teams that are in the East, helped clear cap space to help LeBron James move over to Cleveland. Now, or possibly move over to Cleveland. What the trade did do was make cap space in which the Cavaliers could then sign James to a max contract if that is indeed the fact. So you had a 3-team trade happen. Let me see if I could pull up that trade for you. I wrote about it in my article on Sports Minded a few hours ago. Kind of, with the expectations that LeBron James is going to be coming out, because that is a report by Chris Sheridan of SheridanHoops.com that he has out. Over the last 2 days, he has said that LeBron James he's 90% sure that LeBron James is going to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's not like Sheridan is any Joe Blow by any means. He's been with the AP, the Associated Press for quite some time, and so I'm sure he knows his stuff, and he trusts his sources enough to more or less kind of risk his career by saying, he's almost all but sure and can guarantee that LeBron James will go to Cleveland. Now, LeBron James could swerve everybody. But going back to what I was saying about the trade, you had a 3-team trade with the Celtics getting Marcus Thornton and Tyler Zeller, along with the first-round pick of the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2016 draft. You have the Nets receiving Jarrett Jack and another player, Sergei Karasev. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. And then you also have the Cavaliers pick up the draft rights to 2 players, both of which I'm guessing is for the sake of the trade. They won't be coming to Cleveland anytime soon because they want to have that cap space, as much cap space as needed to bring in LeBron James and everybody else. Now, with that being said, it has also been reported that Ray Allen and Mike Miller are also of interest to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They may bring them in. Both of them are former teammates of LeBron James during his 4-year run with the Miami Heat. So to see some familiar faces such as Ray Allen, who he was with last year, and Mike Miller, who I think was with the Grizzlies last year, if I'm not mistaken. But he was with Miami Heat when LeBron first got there in 2010, 2011. So he's very fond of both of those guys, and I'm sure he would like to see them in Cleveland with him as well, if he were to go to Cleveland. But that wasn't it. It didn't stop there with what the Cavaliers did to their roster. There was also the report that there were moving trucks at LeBron James' house in Miami, Florida. Now, that's some pretty interesting stuff. If that is true, and I mean there were pictures of the trucks. These trucks had addresses in Florida on them, but again, it's hard to take with a grain of salt when you're not on the street of where LeBron James lives to see it for yourself. But if there were moving trucks, there were at least trucks there moving his cars. I don't think he needs these big old semi-looking trucks to move his cars if he's staying in Miami. If he's headed back to Cleveland, then maybe you'll need a moving truck or 2. But it didn't stop there. As many of us knew, and I had even tweeted about 2 days ago now, I guess it is that LeBron James was going to have a meeting in Las Vegas where he was holding his basketball camp, and he was going to talk to Pat Riley. Pat Riley was going to make his way down to Vegas, and they were going to have a face-to-face talk. Apparently, it was supposed to just be those 2. I believe Chris Sheridan was saying... I know Chris Broussard had said that it was going to at least be those 2, and I think later on it came out that there were multiple people from the Heat organization there. But I think at the end of the day, what came out of it was what we know, or what has been reported, was that there was no commitment, there was no deal to be made on LeBron James's end. He didn't say anything, and my guess, and this is the way I kind of saw it when it was first announced that there was going to be a face-to-face meeting, is that it was a man-to-man, face-to-face, LeBron James telling Pat Riley, who is the president of the Heat's organization, that he is not going to be returning. Nope, not returning. Now, if this all doesn't seem like he's coming to the Cavaliers, then I don't know what more to tell you. But if this is true and he had that man-to-man talk with him, and it doesn't really stop there as well, because if I remember correctly, I saw something about Dwayne Wade also having a meeting with LeBron James. I believe it might have been in Vegas as well, and they had dinner or something. But if that's true, if that is true, then that may have been the man-to-man opportunity he wanted to tell his friend Dwayne Wade that he was not going to be returning. And if you think about it from Dwayne Wade's perspective, he helped bring these guys into Miami 4 years ago. I'm talking about LeBron James and Chris Bosh, who I'll get to in a minute. But when you think about it, all three of these guys opted out within the last maybe 2 weeks now, or whatever, or a week ago, more or less. The three of them opted out. I believe Dwayne Wade alone left, I want to say $40 million, something like that, on the table. However much it was a lot of money, more money than I'll make in a lifetime. And he passed that down because he wanted to take less money to play with his pals, Chris Bosh and LeBron James. But now it doesn't look like LeBron James or Chris Bosh is coming back, and Dwayne Wade is going to be looking pretty silly all by himself in Miami. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, you could feel bad for Dwayne Wade or not, but the guy has money. He's going to get his money, and I'm sure the Miami Heat will take care of him either way. And I'm sure, I can at least assume if Dwayne Wade is the only guy of the big three left in Miami, then he'll get a little extra something, or he'll get a little bit better of a contract, because those other two guys aren't there, and so they have plenty of money to spend. And that also leads me to wonder, while it is barely becoming official, in which we are about, it's 2 o'clock now here, so 9, we're about 3, 4, 5 hours into the official free agency period in which teams can sign. So that leaves me to wonder if Josh McRoberts and Danny Granger are really going to sign with the Heat. Are they going to sign with the Heat if LeBron James decides not to come back? Because I know Chris Bosh has said, or it's been reported, and I mean this has been reported for 2 days now or whatever, but it came up again, and I even have it in my article I wrote on sportsmindednews.com, that Chris Bosh will take the max offer that the Houston Rockets have offered him. He will sign on the dotted line to his home state of Texas and make a big three there in the Western Conference with Dwight Howard and James Harden with the Rockets if LeBron James does not return to Miami. So Bosh and LeBron went to Miami together. They may be leaving together, I guess. Maybe not together, but at the same time. So it looks like the Rockets are going to be out of, I guess they're more or less out of the race already. And I mean, it's kind of obvious, and we all knew this for a few days, that the Rockets are out of the Carmelo sweepstakes, I guess. Talking about Carmelo Anthony, that is. And, I mean, the Lakers seem to be making a strong push for him earlier, but that doesn't even seem to be the case anymore. And he seems to be headed back to New York, where he will re-sign there. And I believe there's more or less a quote or something. One of the guys, I think it was from ESPN. From ESPN had reported, yeah, I have it here, that, you know, he believes in Phil, and Phil's his guy. I mean, Phil's one of the guys you can't trust in the league, and he's a man of his word. Now, I'm pretty sure that means Pau Gasol will be going there as well to join him. You know, Pau Gasol, I've had I had him expecting. I was expecting him to go wherever Melo more or less was gonna go, whether it was on the Bulls, maybe not. Maybe not the Bulls. I'm not sure how that would have played out. But I know for sure he would have been either on the Knicks roster or the Lakers roster if they decided to get him. Now, it's not a guarantee. I expect him to go with Melo, but I do expect Paul Gasol to look at his other options as well. He's a top target for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Scott Brooks went out and talked to him, I believe the day before the 4th of July or on the 4th of July. Westbrook and Durant were out there to talk to Gasol. So it's kind of weird. The people of Los Angeles, I mean, I guess, they took him for granted, or they didn't give him much respect. But around the league, Paul Gasol is still a valuable asset. So I'm sure many people in Lakers Nation, as they like to call themselves, if they see Paul Gasol on another team and see him doing well, I'm sure they're going to be quite upset that they couldn't keep the Spaniard in LA. But where does that leave Kobe Bryant? Who knows? Him and Julius Randle, they're back to square one. Um, they haven't signed anyone. Nope. They haven't. I was trying to think there. They're just waiting. They were waiting for Melo, and it doesn't look like Melo's gonna go there. Reports are that he's going to New York. It's not official yet, but I guess later on today there's supposed to be two decisions to be made. One by Melo, who I guess is going to more or less announce that he will be re-signing with the New York Knicks, and then LeBron James, I believe. Chris Sheridan said he was supposed to be doing this on his website. I haven't seen a time in which he's going to be doing this announcement. But if he is going to make an announcement, it may be on his website, which is a good move on his part as far as marketability and whatnot. But all signs do point to him joining the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm talking about LeBron James. They've had the first 3 picks there in Cleveland. In the last 4 years, when it comes to the NFL draft, they drafted Kyrie Irving in 2011, Anthony Bennett in 2013, and Andrew Wiggins most recently in the 2014 draft. So Irving in 2011, Bennett in 2013, and then in 2014 you had Andrew Wiggins. And then the Cavaliers also had the 4th overall pick when they took Dion Waiters in the 2012 draft. So right in the middle of their 3 picks in that 4 years in which LeBron was in Miami, they were getting the first pick in 3 of those 4 years, and then they got the 4th pick in one of those years, which is just as valuable, a top 5 pick when they took Dion Waiters. So they have a stacked roster, and as I have mentioned in my article, and I wrote another article about it before on my website, Kyrie Irving did sign a 5-year extension with the team, so if you think of that, he'll be there guaranteed for at least 4 or 5 years, unless he gets injured or the team trades him. But he'll be there for, if he meets his contract, he'll be there for at least 5 years. Andrew Wiggins' rookie deal. Not sure if he signed yet. I know he signed a Nike deal, I believe. Or no, he signed with Adidas. Jabari Parker signed with the Bucks today. I don't know if Wiggins is signed yet, but I can only imagine his rookie deal will have him staying there at least 3 to 4 years. So if you look at that team, and let's say Wiggins is decent, or he becomes an above average player, if he's where Kyrie Irving is now, and Kyrie takes his game to another level, and LeBron James is there in 4 years from now, it signs with the team and is there for 4 years, right in the middle of his prime. That's a good team. Got a nice solid little lineup there. Now they're saying Wiggins, maybe traded as part of a deal to bring in Kevin Love. We'll see how that plays out. But right now, LeBron James looks like he's in good shape if he does go back home to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like I mentioned before, they have a lot of stuff, a lot of history. There's a lot of history with the owner, Dan Gilbert, and LeBron James himself. But business is business. And LeBron James does have unfinished business there. I believe someone has him quoted as saying that, or they think that will be his motto the rest of the way. That he has unfinished business in Cleveland, and I mean he does. I believe he might have promised them a championship at some point. I don't want to hold him to that, but I don't know. It should be interesting. Many people didn't think it would happen, and they might. So many fans of the Cleveland Cavaliers may be jumping for joy, and I know some fans some fans there in Miami will not be too happy. Some other news that has happened today, or at least within the last few hours, was the signing of Jordan Farmar and Spencer Hawes. Both of them are now with the Los Angeles Clippers. They had agreed to terms a few days ago, but they made those deals official. You also had Chandler Parsons, who is a restricted free agent of the Houston Rockets. He got an offer for 4 years, $46 million, I want to say, to the Dallas Mavericks, right up the road there, and that now leaves Miami with 3 days. Not Miami. That leaves the Houston Rockets with 3 days to match that deal. I believe the Hornets offered Gordon Hayward, who is a restricted free agent, an offer, but I think the Jazz are expected to match that offer from what I'm seeing here. So a lot of good stuff going on in the NBA. If you just look around, looking on Twitter, like I said, you just gotta sit through a lot of the BS, I guess you can say. Pretty crazy stuff. We'll see what happens. A lot of things are expected to fall into place once we hear where Carmelo is gonna go and where LeBron James is gonna go. So with that being said, I am gonna go. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with me as you listen to my thoughts and everything that has been going on in the free agency period, as teams are beginning to sign players and announcements are going to start being made pretty soon. If not today, on June 10th, then July 10th, then within the next few days. So like I said, I gotta go, and I'm out of here. Enjoy everything that is going on in the sports world. Have a great day, and I will see you guys later. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, J.H.W. Reporter. That is at J.H.W. Reporter. And also, don't forget to check out Douglas Day. He's now joining us on Sports Minded. He has a very nice video blog that he does. You can follow him on Twitter at YankieBaller415. That is at YankieBaller415. He's a good dude. He knows his stuff when it comes to New York sports and sports in general. Really, he talks about the World Cup. He's talking about the New York Yankees and the whole situation with Tanaka being on the DL and what that'll mean for the Yankees going forward. He's also talking about the MLB in general, and also I'm sure he'll be discussing some things with the New York Knicks if Carmelo Anthony does decide to return. So with that being said, thank you for joining us once again in the sports world with all the latest sports news going on. Check us out at sportsmindednews.com. Have a great day.